A cliché could be defined as a general image or opinion that we have of something. We don't really question them because it's easier to go by them. Clichés structure our perception of the world and of the people around us. But how to know if the clichés are really relevant? Welcome back to Easy True That, the podcast that will tell you if the clichés are true. The goal here is to have an open conversation with natives about the clichés that people have about their country. I'm your host Noel, and welcome to the fourth episode of the show. This time we'll take a look at the clichés we have about France, and we'll discuss them with Nour and Raphaelle. I'm French as well, but I promise I'll stay objective about it. Enjoy the episode! Cliché number 1. Is it true that French people are rude?
I don't think that French people are essentially rude, but I do think that we're not the most friendly population I could think of. Firstly, it definitely depends on the region of the country. I don't want to hurt Parisian people, but yeah, you do not have the best reputation. And even if more smaller cities, it really depends on people. However, we're not as friendly. Let's say Scottish people are. We're in Scotland right now, and I could definitely see the difference between people in the street, how they will talk to you, how they help you when you have a problem with your luggage and stuff. We're really gonna help you. In France, they definitely do not do that. Yeah, I know that Americans have a way more friendly approach as well. We're not as dry as Danish people, let's say, but yeah, not very warm either.
As a Parisian, we tend to be like most people that live in big cities are. When you live in a big city, everything is faster, everything is quicker, and you just live your life and you're not dependent on anybody. So it's just you and yourself. You don't know anybody outside of yourself. So for example, let's say I get in the subways of the metro. I don't know anybody. There's literally no chance that I will see somebody that I know. So I won't be as open and as friendly as I would be if I was surrounded by people that I know, or if I knew that I had a chance to meet someone that I know. And also, I do think that in a more general way, French people tend to be seen as being very rude because we have a different sense of humor. And I know that because I'm used to that type of sarcasm.
You're a peculiar type of person.
I know.
As well. Honestly, she says that, but she's just blatantly rude.
No, it's not true. I'm a bit rude.
You're funny, so it's okay.
Thank you. I think that it's also a reason why people think that we're rude.
But I mean, I like it because it's kind of more true. You're talking about Persian people. I'm Persian as well, and thought of in Persian culture, it's really you say things you don't mean. You just thank people a lot, even if it's not true at all. You can be sure that if French people doesn't thank you, they really don't think it.
Yeah, I saw something on the internet about that. It's silly, but it's called the peach culture and the coconut culture. And so some cultures are warmer at the beginning, they're going to be really enthusiastic, they're going to be really open, but you won't be able to really be their friend because
to get past that shell.
Yeah, as a peach, no, because as a peach, you're softer on the outside, but inside it's...
Oh, okay,
you have
it's hard,
the
pit, the pit.
Yeah, you have the pit. So you're never really their friend, even though they're really friendly with you. Coconut culture, though, are the opposite. It's difficult to get in the shell, but once you're in the shell, it's all warm, it's all soft and everything. So French people, to me, are more like a coconut culture.
I can get that, and I think it also depends of the cities as well. Marseille, the city you come from, people tend to be friendlier there than they are. It's I lived in the south for quite a while, but in the fascist south of France, and I can tell you that in Menton things were not like that. I mean, they were just blatantly racist, so it was something else. But let's say that in big cities, people are not gonna get out of their ways to help you do something, even if you have trouble. Although in smaller places, they do not really do it either.
I mean, again, in Paris, when people ask for help, I will help them.
Yeah.
It's no problem. It's
but you're not gonna get out of your way to help someone that needs
Yes, I will.
Do you think it's out of fear? Maybe you don't trust the other
people. Oh yeah, you
people,
definitely don't trust. I wouldn't trust anybody in the subway.
So you're almost afraid of them, so you don't go towards them.
You see very weird things at a very early age when you're in a big city.
Yeah.
It's you're used to just ignore people that could be could potentially harm you. So when I grew up, my mom was like, okay, so you don't talk to that guy, you don't talk to that woman because you don't know what they're on, you don't know if they drunk before, blah, blah, blah. And so they are considered a potential danger for you.
I've heard people from other nationalities telling me that French people were rude when these people from abroad tried to speak French. I've had testimonies of people that told me that they went to France, they wanted to do the effort, and even when they tried to speak French, people were rude to them.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. If you go to the bakery in the morning and you want to buy your little croissant or pain au chocolat, you have this great lady who is a baker who woke up at fucking 4 a.m. to make the fucking bread, okay? She needs to sell that fucking bread, okay? It's her job every day. She sees tourists every day. She sees people trying to speak French every day of her fucking life for like 10 to 15 years. She wants to be efficient, you know? If you speak French and that she's not sure that you'll be able to understand if she answers like in the same way she would do usually, maybe a bit too fast, well then you won't understand and she'll have to repeat and then she just trusts her job. Like honestly, even like waiter and waitresses in restaurant, it's a hard job. Like their job is not easy. They're tired, so don't expect them to smile at you and just like, I don't know, try to be like teachers. They're trying to do their job in order for it to be efficient. And you have to remember as well that French people sometimes do want to speak English to improve their English skills as well. Because, I mean, like, sometimes it's something useful to do. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I agree with that because I have close friends that are international students, and when they
Me
came
too.
to France, they were like, that is very rude because I know French. I just talk in like with a different accent because I'm not from France. And I am bored and sick of people just talking to me in English because they think that I don't master the language when actually I do. And it is rude because it's not because the person in front of you speaks the language that you know with a different accent that it means that they don't master that language. So I feel like French people are just not patient enough, and that is something that you've not only found in like universities. In again, I'm talking about Paris, but like in Paris, that is something that happens a lot. And when I go with my international friends and they start talking in French, most of the time they're gonna get responded to in English, which is like, to me very rude. Because then when I talk in French, they just answer to me in French and not to them.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, I kind of disagree in the sense that it depends if they are your friends and then you're having a conversation like in the space, like university space, you know, then people start to know that they know the language, so they can speak them in French. If it's just again like only one interaction, like in a shop or at a bakery or a restaurant, how do you know as a waiter? How do you know if that person really speaks English, like really speaks French, sorry, or just knows to say like bonjour, au revoir? You don't know them. You just do your job. Like I worked as a waitress, and I can tell you that tourists, when they do not speak language and it's hard for them to understand, even if they try, sometimes it's easier to just speak the language. I mean, it's not rude if you don't know them. Of course, if they are in your university and that at some point, like, you start to know people and you know, oh well, this person does master the language, then yeah, you can try, but don't ask people who work like from 9 to 5, who wake up early, who see tourists every day of their life for like a lot of time, to just like go out of their ways or try to speak slower. I mean, they're just trying to get their job done. I mean, to me, understandable. When I went to Germany, it was the same. Tried to speak in German, and sometimes they would start to speak to me in English, and I wasn't bothered by that. I was just, yeah, it's more efficient because it is true. My English is indeed better than my German. So, I mean, yeah.
Maybe we should talk about the strikes.
Oh yeah,
You
that's
know,
a
because
good
we
thing.
are known worldwide for the strikes.
Well, I think it's a great thing from a Marxist perspective. We do have a strike culture because it is a way that our social movements were formed from like very early age. You know, when you think about the 20th century or in the 19th century, like the first movement for workers and like social rights, it was in the form of strikes, and it's something that kept going on because it is something that worked. It's the kind of mobilization that enabled us to obtain these rights. So just keep doing that. And like, yeah, it does happen a lot, especially in big cities. I feel like you can have strikes
Yeah.
basically everything every day, but the difference is that it becomes part of your daily routine, whereas in smaller cities, like the city I came from, I come from Tours, by the way, like in the center of France. You have like basically, you do not have one bus line, but you have like one main road, like by which the bus goes, especially if you're in the center and you wish to go to the periphery. And if there is a strike, well, everything is blocked and you don't have any other
Go
way
for it.
of going home. Like you really have to, like the bus stops just completely change and they shift, and sometimes the buses are blocked for several hours. And so it was just this thing of like going back from high school and you were like, well shit, I'm gonna have to stay here until 8 p.m. because I just can't go home. But overall, I like the strike spirit, although I think it's kind of losing its energy these days.
Again, as a Parisian, I would say that it's true that I have since like a very early age, like a very, I'd say, common, like for me, strikes are like a very common thing because I'm used to like seeing people walking down the roads, walking down the streets, screaming and shouting for whatever topic they care for, basically. And so, I mean, from a foreigner perspective, I would understand that it's something that they're not used to because we tend to like strike a lot. What I think is interesting is that you mentioned that when you're not from a big city, everything is blocked because the whole city works.
You know, we
according
have to
to
have one center,
yeah, exactly,
not several.
and yeah,
I mean, it's kind of the point of the strike, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
but it doesn't work like that. I mean, since Paris is like a bigger city, or you have to like build a strategy that is going to be like way more complicated because you have lots of roads, lots of different like modes of transport. So yeah, I'd say that it's like very very different way of striking, and also more people. Like if it's like a very big strike, then the energy is gonna be way different. Like it's gonna be way different. And you can like see it when on like televisions, on the news, they're gonna show you like images of strikes in Paris and images of strikes in like middle cities. You see like the difference because like lots of violence, lots of people that are
too.
because there are more people too.
yeah, it's big city. It's just like Marseille and Paris are the two biggest cities of France.
I think so.
Bayern as well, or Lille too. But I don't know if there's a lot of strikes in Lille.
It has to do with the fact that you know people from your city. In Paris, you don't know everybody, so you would be less ashamed of, I don't know, breaking into someone's store because you don't know that person.
Cliché number 2. Is it true that French people have a great sense of style?
I mean, you can just ask by like looking at us that we do have a great sense of.
No, I was more referring to the beret, the marinière, natural makeup.
Oh my god, I'm actually wearing a marinière right now.
Yeah.
another French girl here is also wearing a
But it's
marinière.
more a Britain thing. Like
A Britain thing?
No.
People from Brittany, like I know that my friend who is from Brittany, she wears a lot of those, and I love them.
We don't see that much, like the beret, I don't see that much
Never.
beret.
No,
Maybe
only
in Paris.
Only
Only
tourists wear
tourists,
yeah.
beret.
I mean, French people are stylish, but they do not wear that.
I would say the people actually do wear marinière.
Yeah.
Beret. In Paris, a game that I do with friends, like each time you see someone wearing a beret, you know that it's a tourist. You just it's like, oh, I know it's a tourist because like they're wearing a beret. So when they're trying to like be Parisian, etc., it's just you're giving tourist vibes. So don't do that.
Yeah. But
Please don't do that.
Marinière is a true thing, but it's
Yeah,
more
it's a real
coastal
thing.
city thing. Like when you go on holidays with your parents, like in Brittany or along the coast in France, But I mean, like you're most likely going to buy you some kind of stuff like that, and you'll wear it as well.
Now, marinière are like a very mainstream type of clothes.
Yeah,
like
but still, it's the thing that I buy when I go like to see my grandparents, like in Cali, in the north of France.
To go back to the question of like fashionistas and like, do French people do they have like a big do they have like a big fashion sense? I would say that it depends.
Yes.
But like I would say that we do care. I mean, at least again as a Parisian, I would say that people do care about the way they look. So when you go to Paris, most of the time people have a decent outfit. And
they're put together. They put effort in.
Exactly. I feel like it is important. Like it's an important thing. But I wouldn't say that it's like a very typical French thing. Because again, what do you mean when you think about fashion? Do you include all types of fashion?
It's fashionable, I would say, well put together. Like think about what you want to wear and wear it. But at the same time, again, I think it is a thing in bigger cities because having lived in very small, medium, and going to live in a bigger city next, because I spent the first 2 years of my license in a small city in the south of France called Menton. And the thing was, I was 15 minutes by foot from my like uni campus. So basically, the city was very small. It was a very like touristy city and like retirement city. So a lot of old people, and to be honest, like there were really some times where people would just come to class like in pajamas. I would wear my Birkenstock with socks almost every day if it wasn't raining, because at some point you're just tired and you just don't give a shit. But that's something that I would never do in Paris, because you know you have the commute, like the travel time that you have. You commute to go to university, so of course it has an importance. But then again, I don't know. I just like looking.
I would say it's important to specify who you're talking about. If I talk about like my campus in Paris, in the 6th arrondissement,
Sciences Po Paris.
Sciences Po, everybody is well dressed.
Yeah.
So I would never go to university. Like the past 2 years, I never went to university like in a bad outfit, because everybody is well dressed. But if you're talking about like Paris as a whole, if you're going to the 13th arrondissement, people won't dress the same way, because we're not in the center of Paris. It's not a touristic area.
Yeah.
So people dress normally. But again, when you say fashionistas, what do you mean? Do you mean people that wear very expensive
Yeah, that's what I
clothes?
was gonna say. Like, there's also all of these houses of pure luxury clothes.
But to me, that's not what fashion is about. Like when you think about fashion, like personally, the stuff that I do like is kind of like, you know, the more we're 20, so you know we do like the kind of like indie fashion style or underground fashion style, or you know like kind of not the one that comes from big houses of couture that we do know about. And I think that in Edinburgh, actually, people are really fucking well dressed.
Yeah,
like,
they are.
Really.
There's a lot of tourists as well.
No, but like even
No,
students.
students. I'm
Even
talking
students,
about
even
uni
students.
students.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm talking about uni students. I'm talking about those girls in the street with like the knee-high boots and the scarf and the shit. Like they are really fucking well dressed. Like in Paris, people are well dressed, but at the same time, there's a lot of tourists. But I'm not talking about tourists. I'm really talking about people. And I feel like in Germany, there's this thing as well. Like I'd say that if in a city with a big sense of style, Paris is in this game. But I would say that the UK, especially like Edinburgh, London, the people that live here, like wow, they do fucking dress well.
And again, it depends.
And yeah, but
I would say that again, who are we talking about? Because if we are like only talking about students of the University of Edinburgh, most of them are like very wealthy.
yeah, true.
So I wouldn't take them as a reference.
Yeah, and even French people as like fashionistas, it's true that it really depends of the amount of wealth that you have. So it's mostly not a French thing, but I feel like the very put together and to care about what you're wearing. I would say that it's not that we are extremely fashionistas, just that we put more interest in the outfit that we would wear as some other country would. Not every time, but as an example, you know, like when you think of Americans going to high school, it's not the same as in France, basically. Like they could,
Not at all.
they could go to the school in their pajamas, which is something that
I would
We could
never
do
do.
that.
I would never do. Even in high school.
yeah.
It's not possible.
Never
Even my
in high
mom.
school.
My mom wouldn't let me go outside with my pajamas on.
Me too.
Yeah.
Never.
My mom would like freak out. She'd be like, what the fuck is
In
going on?
high
Like,
school?
why?
In high school, you have classes from 8 to 6
Yeah,
p.m.
you're not doing that.
How do
yeah.
you want even to like dress in your pajamas? Like in uni, you have only 1 hour of class in a big amphitheater, and you live 10 minutes away from campus in a small city, and you don't see anyone. I could see that, but in a bigger city in high school, never.
Cliché number 3. Is it true that Paris is the city of love?
Again, this is like a very a very cliche type of like idea
That's
about
what
my
we
city.
hear.
It's like, oh, it's like the city of love, blah blah blah. I think that it is because people make it the city of love. It's like a social construct. It is not the city of love just
Tourists
because
make
of
it the city of
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah, but in
my
in
city is
movies too.
my
In
city
movies
is like
too.
just my city. I don't see my city as like the city of love. I see my city as like a very beautiful city. Like I love my city, but would I consider it like a city of love? And at the same time, because so many movies, so many series, so many books take place in Paris and make it romantic, it gives you this idea that it is a very romantic city.
Yeah,
And then you take the subway and you change your mind.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know.
well.
I mean, the romantic atmosphere does not come from the city itself, it comes from the media that covers the city. So, you know, it creates an idea and then it
Yeah.
kind of, transcripts into the way you live in the city. And of course, if you're a foreigner and you just have to go to Paris, like, only as a couple with your significant other, then it is going to be a romantic trip. And if you want to have specifically, you're like, we should do a trip together, a romantic one, then you can choose Paris, and then yes, it does become romantic. But to be fair, it's a big city, so you have a lot more option on Hinge. Oh, do you remember the Olympic Games stuff? You know, like the introduction of the Olympic Games, like the introduction ceremony that
The
happened.
long video.
Like the
yeah.
long video,
Mhm.
and it was supposed to represent like some sorts of different facets and sides of the country. And in one, there was a scene with three French people like going up in an apartment and then kissing as like a three something. Okay, and actually it was a reference to like a French author called Marivaux, but the marivaudage, which is like a specific way of flow that's very 18th century like. And let's say that the thing of like the ménage à trois, it's really like allegedly a French thing because the expression ménage à trois is even used in English like with an accent like ménage à trois, like you know like but you know like yeah, it's used like that. And that's when you think about City of Love, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but I mean, like there is certainly in the French pop culture and the culture that we do export, you know, outside of the country,
like romantic
Definitely.
movies.
Yeah. Because they play on that as well. It
Yeah,
sells.
the whole thing about like the 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
70s movies with like those beautiful women, beautiful boys, and they fall in love and they speak French and they're like so nonchalant and they smoke cigarettes.
Like
blah,
Jacques
blah.
Denis movies.
Exactly,
You know, like
yeah.
very like beautiful makeup and the dress and the perfect like French love story.
Yeah.
And it's not only in Paris, you know, like.
Yeah, and like this but like this idea of like ambiguity and like like it's complicated, etc. It's like the whole thing about like relationships and I feel like it's like a very like a thing that French people do cultivate.
Yeah, I think they do cultivate it. Like, I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying that as what we export when we think about French culture, it's something that is definitely used. I mean, like this perfect idea of like the French boy, French girl, and stuff like that, which is far from true. But yeah.
Did you hear about the Paris syndrome?
Why is that?
Paris syndrome is when a tourist goes to Paris and is extremely disappointed by the reality of the city.
I mean, of course. How could you not be?
But some of them go
like
in
any others.
depression or almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're so.
They have high expectations.
Yeah,
they do.
They are so disappointed that
I mean,
it just puts them in a bad place.
I'm disappointed when I see them in the streets because there are too much of them and I can't even walk when I take the metro, so that's a problem. The Paris syndrome is kind of obvious. It's a capital city, like any other capital city. You sell an image of it, and that's
it's
kind
not
of
true.
like,
It's not any capital city.
I think
It do like the architecture, the mood of the city. Oh, we were just talking before the podcast about all the idea of like how art is a big thing in Paris. How Paris is like
true.
a big city of arts in general. Like I'm talking cinema, I'm talking museums, I'm talking I don't know, like you can like galleries, like art galleries. It's a very big thing in Paris, and I feel like the Paris syndrome is also because it tends to give an idea of Paris before people come and actually explore and discover how Paris is actually a beautiful city.
it takes time to know it. Like, not that it's quite well branded, but if you really want to go inside these galleries or, you know, like see things about movies or cinema, if you do not speak French and you do not have someone that is French to really show you these places, like I feel like you can learn to love it. But if you're just a tourist only staying for a few days and visiting very crowded place, I feel like the Paris syndrome is also related to the fact that when you see Paris in movies or in pictures, there's almost no one in the streets.
Yeah.
Which is really not true. You know, people live there and there are a lot of tourists. So obviously when you go, it's not that kind of like fantasy. But I mean,
about the thing about like language, like the French language being like very mainstream and like not a lot of artist productions being
in English,
but like, and accessible to like non-francophone people. I feel like it's something that is the strength but also the weakness of Paris, because we're very proud of our language, but this also is a problem because then less people have access to our artistic productions. I don't know. I just honestly, this is like a question that I'm asking, but I don't know the answer about like how much of a weakness or a strength it is.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's. I mean, the best way would be for it to be in both languages, because I mean, like, obviously, if you're in France, you cannot just like preclude French people who do not speak English from attending those. Like, it would be a problem as well. But at the same time, I feel like tourists, when they come to Paris, they do not really focus on those kind of cultural exhibitions, not because they do not want to, but because they don't know about them. Like, it's not something that's really branded, and that's really, mostly talked about, and I think it should be, like, honestly it could be a good thing, but you tend to visit like the Tour Eiffel, big museums, the Louvre and stuff like that, and not much like smaller galleries or smaller places that you can,
or parks,
yeah.
Time for the recommendation. If this episode made you want to know more about French culture, here is what Raphaelle and Nour recommend you to look at.
I'd say Arte.
What?
Yeah, because I just had the idea right now, but like Arte is it's a TV channel, but it's also a like a streaming platform. It's Franco-German streaming platform, I would say. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, it's a channel and a streaming platform.
Yeah.
But anyway, and they talk about like very interesting topics, including topics about French people and German people. But like, it's a very interesting channel, and I would recommend that.
And as for me, I would say go outside of big cities, go outside of Paris, but not like only to go to the small, very well known like pretty cities that you see on Instagram or on social medias. Like go to the middle sized cities where most of the population lives, just like honestly. Because they all have a center, they are all interesting to go to. And mostly like, what I would recommend is like what we call the les verres en terrasse. So basically, what I noticed when I was not in France is that in the winter, or even in the summer sometimes, people here that do not really like drink a beer, a pint,
Outside of France.
Yeah, outside of France, or a glass of wine, or cocktails, or anything, outside. Like there is not a very big like outside sitting culture, let's say, in coffees or in bars. Like as an example, in the UK, bars are often inside, and I mean I know maybe it's because it's cold, but in Paris it can be cold as well, and I can tell you that you will find French people sitting outside. Maybe because we do smoke a lot.
With haters.
No, we smoke. Like as a smoker.
No, but like we have like for non-smokers there are like heaters that are in. Yeah. So you're not cold. You're a bit cold, but like you're not that cold.
Yeah, and there's like this sort of like veranda, like with glass, that you can go into. So but you're still kind of outside, and it's a big thing like in part of the French culture, and not only in big cities like Paris or other like Marseille. Like in my city where I come from, we do have that a lot as well. Like in the historical center of the city, we have a place called la Place Plumereau. Pour les Tourangeaux, vous connaîtrez, représente tout. And like it's a really cool place. We have a lot of bars. Like yeah, it's nice. And honestly, even if you're a foreigner, just like befriend some French people that are your age and just go out of your way to talk to them. Like it's cool.
Thank you guys for listening. I think that this conversation with Nour and Raphaelle was really interesting. I hope you feel the same way about it. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, put a like or a comment. It's always nice to see what you have to say about it. You can also follow the show on Instagram and Facebook, or take a look at the subtitled version on YouTube. I'll see you on the next episode of Is It True That?